Welcome to Cosmic Eternity Channel. Have you ever stopped to wonder if what's happening to you is really just coincidence, or if you might actually be stepping into something far greater than you ever imagined? Maybe what you've been feeling lately isn't confusion, but a quiet awakening, a sign that you are among those chosen for a purpose few are able to comprehend. In today's message, we'll dive into the hidden meaning of being a chosen one. This isn't just another story about destiny, it's about what happens when your inner world begins to shift, when a deeper energy starts calling you forward, challenging everything you thought you knew about yourself and reality. As we move through this journey together, you may find answers to questions you've carried for years, and you may also discover new ones that change the way you see your life, your purpose, and your connection to the universe itself. Because when the awakening begins, transformation follows, and nothing around you remains the same. When this awakening touches your soul, it doesn't just change the way you think, it changes your very being. Your energy begins to move differently, your emotions fluctuate, and even your physical body starts responding in unexpected ways. Many people have felt it, the sense that what once felt normal now feels foreign, like something invisible has shifted beneath the surface. I remember the first time I sensed it within myself. I thought I was losing my mind. My emotions were unpredictable. My body felt heavy one day and charged with strange energy the next. People who once felt close suddenly grew distant. There was no logical reason, but deep down, I knew something in me was changing. My energy field was evolving, and not everyone could handle that frequency. This phase can be deeply unsettling. You may feel detached from the world, misunderstood, or even isolated. But that isolation isn't punishment, it's preparation. Because being chosen isn't about following an easy path or blending in with everyone else. It's about walking through transformation with faith, trusting that every challenge, every discomfort, every tear is guiding you towards something greater. True transformation begins inside. It starts with healing, releasing the pain, fears, and patterns you've carried for years. This process can be painful, but it's sacred. As you let go of the old, your entire being begins to recalibrate. You may notice your eyes becoming brighter, your voice more resonant, your energy more magnetic. Your physical body becomes a reflection of your spiritual evolution. It can be uncomfortable, yes, but these are not coincidences. These changes are signs that you are aligning with your divine purpose. The body mirrors the spirit, and every shift you experience is preparing you for deeper understanding and connection with the higher realms. Many don't realize that spiritual evolution often feels like loss before it feels like growth. It can feel like part of you is dying, but what's really happening is rebirth. You're not losing yourself. You're becoming who you truly are. Accepting that truth is one of the hardest lessons for those on this path, because transformation always pulls you out of your comfort zone. As you change, so does your environment. The world begins to respond to your energy. Some people will drift away, unable to resonate with your new vibration. Others will be drawn closer, sensing the light you now carry. And that's when the true essence of being chosen reveals itself. Your energy becomes a mirror that exposes, heals, and awakens. At times, your very presence will disturb those still bound to old energies. That's not a reason to hide, it's confirmation that you're walking the right path. Because your transformation is not just personal, it's part of a collective awakening. Others like you are going through similar shifts, even if their journeys look different. The challenge, however, lies in balance. One of the greatest struggles for those who awaken is learning to live between two worlds, the spiritual and the material. You feel deeply connected to divine truth, yet you still have to face the practical demands of daily life. This conflict can make you feel divided, as if you belong fully to neither realm. I've been there. I felt an immense power awakening within me, But I still had bills to pay, responsibilities to fulfill, and expectations to meet. It seemed impossible to reconcile the two, to live a spiritual life within a material system that felt so empty. But eventually I understood. The mission of the chosen isn't to escape the world, but to transform it from within. Our task is not to run away from the physical world, but to infuse it with light. True mastery is found not in isolation, but in integration, bringing divine awareness into everyday life. We don't need to abandon our responsibilities. We need to approach them from a higher perspective, with clarity and purpose. When you learn to balance both worlds, you begin to live your mission fully. You realize that spirituality isn't about perfection, it's about presence. It's about being a source of light even in chaos, a reflection of divine truth in an imperfect world. This balance doesn't come easily. It requires patience, humility, and courage. But as you align more deeply with your purpose, the pieces start to fit together. Life begins to make sense again, not all at once, but in divine timing. Every struggle, every delay, every heartbreak reveals its hidden meaning. One of the most painful parts of this awakening is loneliness, not the kind you feel when you're alone, but the kind that arises when you're surrounded by people and still feel unseen. As your consciousness expands, your old circles may no longer resonate. Conversations feel empty, relationships lose their spark, and you begin craving depth over familiarity. This loneliness is not a curse, it's a sign of evolution. The emptiness you feel is space being made for something higher. You're being prepared for a deeper connection, one that comes not from others, but from within yourself and from your divine source. In time, this isolation becomes sacred. It teaches you how to listen to your own spirit, how to trust your intuition, and how to find peace even in silence. It's in that solitude that you meet your true self, the part of you that remembers why you came here and what you're meant to do. So if you've been feeling that pull, that disconnection, that longing for something beyond the ordinary, understand this. You're not broken, you're awakening. And though the path of the chosen is never simple, it leads to a truth that few ever touch, the realization that everything you've endured was guiding you home to who you've always been. In my personal view, being chosen is not about superiority or special privilege. It's about responsibility, awareness, and transformation. I believe that when someone begins to awaken spiritually, life no longer feels random. Every challenge, every change in energy, every sense of isolation starts to serve a higher purpose. For me, this journey is both beautiful and difficult. It's not easy to live between two worlds, the spiritual and the material, especially when you start to see and feel things that others can't. But I've come to understand that this discomfort is part of the process. It teaches humility, compassion, and trust in divine timing. I also believe that the signs of transformation are not coincidences. The shifts we feel in our emotions, our energy, and even our physical bodies are reflections of our soul's evolution. It's the universe reshaping us from the inside out, preparing us to fulfill a greater mission. Most importantly, I see this path as a call to authenticity, to live truthfully, even when that truth sets us apart. Being chosen doesn't mean being perfect. It means being willing to grow, to heal, and to carry light into the darkness. That, to me, is what this awakening is truly about. At some point in the awakening journey, the questions begin to rise from deep within us. Why am I here? What is my purpose? How can I connect with something greater than myself? But the truth is, the answers we seek aren't hidden somewhere out there. They've been inside us all along. What's really happening is that we're learning to listen to our own inner voice, to trust the quiet guidance of intuition, and to form a direct relationship with the divine that doesn't depend on external validation. As this connection deepens, loneliness starts to shift. The emptiness that once felt unbearable slowly fills not with the presence of people, but with the presence of something sacred. Yet another part of this transformation involves realizing that, while this is a deeply personal process, it is not one we must face alone. There comes a time when you begin to notice that others are awakening too. You start to sense familiar energy in strangers, shared understanding in passing words, and a silent recognition in the eyes of those walking a similar path. That realization brings an enormous sense of relief the moment you finally understand that you are not the only one hearing this inner call. Suddenly, the loneliness fades, and the journey becomes lighter. Deep conversations start to flow naturally. Connections feel authentic again. This is the quiet power of spiritual community. Though every soul walks a unique path, connection with others who are also awakening is vital for growth. Many of us spend years feeling different, but the truth is, we are all threads of the same divine fabric. When we find others vibrating at a similar frequency, our isolation becomes fertile ground for mutual evolution. Together we learn, expand, and remind one another of who we truly are. This longing for connection extends far beyond the human level. It is cosmic. The emptiness you felt was never a punishment, but preparation. It's what leads you to remember that you are part of something infinitely larger. When you finally grasp that you are an extension of the divine itself, loneliness loses its weight. You begin to understand that you were never truly alone. The connection you sought was always within you, waiting to be remembered. And then, something powerful happens. You begin to awaken not just to your purpose, but to your mission. You realize that being chosen is not simple or glamorous. It comes with trials that test your strength, patience, and faith. Many of you may have asked, why me? Why was I chosen for this path? The truth is rarely easy. The mission of the chosen is sacred but demanding. It's not about walking an easy road, it's about bringing light to the darkest corners of the world. And that transformation always begins within. As you evolve inwardly, external challenges begin to appear. Walking this path requires courage, because it often means standing against the flow, choosing higher truth, while the world clings to old illusions. That alone can make you a target for misunderstanding. People around you may question your choices, your faith, your vision. You might feel rejected or criticized for no reason other than your light revealing what others aren't ready to see. That rejection can hurt deeply. We all crave acceptance, but once you understand that your purpose is to shine where others see only darkness, those criticisms lose their power. They become background noise in a symphony of divine purpose. Another great trial for every chosen soul is the purification of the self. The mission isn't only about guiding or inspiring others, it's about dying to the old version of yourself over and over again. Each step forward asks you to release something, an outdated belief, a fear, a relationship, or a false identity. What once felt safe may suddenly feel heavy, urging you to let go so you can move higher. And yes, it's painful, but every test you face serves a greater purpose. Each challenge strengthens your faith, deepens your trust, and shapes your spiritual endurance. What feels like destruction is actually construction, your higher self being built from the ashes of your old one. It's important to remember that these struggles are not punishments. They are confirmations that you're moving in alignment with your divine path. Every storm is refining you, preparing you to embody your light more completely. Being chosen is not just a journey of self-discovery, it's a call to responsibility. You're here not only to awaken, but to guide others through their own awakening. This mission comes with great rewards, but also with great weight. Yet within those moments of struggle lies the true strength of your purpose. When you stand firm through uncertainty, you discover that obstacles are not walls. They're steps toward a higher understanding of who you are meant to be. As you grow and expand, your mission begins to radiate outward. Your words, your energy, your mere presence start to touch the lives of others. You become a mirror for those still searching for their own truth, and it's in those moments of shared awakening that you finally see the grand design behind every hardship you've endured. There comes a pivotal point in every chosen one's journey, the moment when everything begins to make sense. The doubts, the isolation, the challenges, all of it transforms into a clear awareness of purpose. What once felt like random suffering now feels like sacred preparation. You realize that the path was never about perfection, it was about persistence, faith, and surrender. At this stage, you begin to meet others walking their own paths of light. You recognize them instantly, not through words, but through resonance. Together, you form a network of luminous souls, each carrying a piece of the divine plan. The heaviness of solitude dissolves, replaced by belonging and mutual understanding. This is the true awakening, not an ending, but a rebirth. You finally see that your journey was never meant to isolate you. It was designed to awaken you. Every trial, every loss, every revelation led you back to your true self. You become a channel for something greater than you, an instrument of divine purpose moving through human experience. And as this realization sinks in, peace begins to flow. Not because you have all the answers, but because you no longer need them. You trust the process. You understand that the awakening is not a final destination, it's a continuous unfolding. Each day, each lesson, each encounter offers another chance to grow and share your light. You are no longer simply a seeker, you are a guide. And through your story, others will remember their own. The awakening never truly ends, it evolves. And as it does, it transforms not only you, but the entire world around you. From my own spiritual perspective, I've come to understand that this entire journey, the loneliness, the transformation, the inner questioning is not a random experience, but a sacred initiation. Every challenge has been a mirror, showing me what still needed healing, what still needed to be released. The more I let go, the closer I feel to the divine presence that has always been guiding me, even when I couldn't see it. I now see that being chosen is not about being elevated above others, it's about carrying a deeper awareness of love, truth, and light into the world. It's a call to serve, to heal, and to illuminate paths for those who are still walking in confusion. The awakening is not something that happens once. It's a continuous process of remembering who we truly are, spiritual beings, experiencing life through human form. To me, this path has become less about seeking answers and more about trusting the flow of divine timing. Each step, each test, each silence has its purpose. What once felt like isolation now feels like preparation, and what once felt like pain now feels like transformation. In the end, my perception is simple. Awakening is not an escape from life, but a deeper engagement with it. It's the realization that the light we seek outside has always lived within us, and that the moment we embrace it fully, we begin to live as instruments of divine will, co-creators of a higher reality.